In today's live stream video, I'm going to discuss with my guest's reselling business and how he promotes his listings using Pinterest. He'll share his tips and strategies to help make us more successful and profitable resellers. Every Wednesday, I have a live stream, and I usually interview another reseller, and I have them share their tips, tricks, and techniques to make us more knowledgeable and profitable resellers. So if you're interested in reselling, then you are in the right place. Just going to pop in the chat and say hello to a few people, and we shall get started very shortly. I saw Randy, my moderator, was in the chat earlier. I appreciate you, Randy, and thank you for being here and taking care of the chat. I always appreciate you being here. Wendy, always good to see you. And yes, we will be talking about how you can promote your e-commerce listings using Pinterest. So my guest, Michael, will tell us about that, and we'll also talk about his reselling business in general. But, back in the day, I'd heard about, how you promote your listing on Pinterest. And I tell you guys, I always do a pre-chat interview. And just talking with Michael, that was one of the things that came up. So I figured I would share that with the chat. Michael, always good seeing you, my friend. Thanks for popping in the chat. Mr. Flipping Goodies. Guys, if you're not subscribed to Mike's channel, please check that out. Flipping Goodies. Mike always has some great content on this channel. So anyway, guys, I'm sure the chat will be filling in shortly. I just want to get started. I don't like to keep the people watching the replay waiting. So let me bring on my guest and have him introduce himself. Hello, sir.
How's it going?
Going well. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for asking me to be on.
Appreciate it. So, as you guys can see, this is Michael, the Southern Geeks. Michael will explain to us, but basically he has a reselling business that his wife helps out with the business. We'll get into that. But you can see he has a little bit of Southern accent. So, gonna have born and raised in the South. So, I'm going to have Michael tell us a little bit about himself.
Yeah. So got into reselling pretty much as an accident. Was at a store one day, came across a really, really good deal on an Xbox game, bought one for myself, took it home, and then something popped in my head. I was like, well, I wonder if I can sell these. And so looked on eBay. This was back in 2007. And looked on eBay, and I was like, well, hey, people buy them. And so went back and bought the rest of them and started a selling account. And, enjoyed it a lot. Along the way, though, I learned really quickly, if you don't have to, don't get into business with anybody else. Unfortunately, that happened. And so that part of it, I stopped for a while and didn't really pick it back up. Not really picked it back up until I worked for another company. And one of the guys there, we had this great idea that we were going to start our own businesses, have some type of income that we could create ourselves. And I told them, I was like, well, I can sell stuff on eBay. And they're like, well, can you really do that? Is it viable? I was like, yeah. I was like, I can make $100 off of 20. And they're like, no, you can't. I was like, yeah, I can. So I sat there, had a $20 bill. And the next day on my lunch break, I went to the thrift store that, just a little ways away, and spent $20 and brought everything back, showed them what I had, got home, listed it. And within a week, I think I had a little over 150 sold, and I still had a couple of items to sell. And they never did do anything. We weren't going into business with each other. It was just kind of pumping each other up to do our own little things. And so I
side hustle, so to speak.
Yeah. And did that for a while. And then kind of let it die off again. What was it? That was 2018. Yeah, 2018. So 4 years ago, I got back into it, and I was single dad at the time. Had my two kids at home with me still. They weren't complete adults yet, and was just going hard and heavy with it. Just pushing myself every day, list, find things. Had started working at the post office as a rural carrier. And thought that was what I was supposed to do, was, get out there and deliver the mail and deliver packages all the time.
You figured you had a government job or a quasi-government job, you got a pension, you got benefits, and you have two children you got to have health benefits for, right?
Right. Yeah. And that's what I thought.
Yeah.
But the more I did eBay, the more I really, 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 really enjoyed it. I've done sales and retail for 25 years of my life. Pretty much my entire adult life has pretty much been selling things to people. for somebody else. And so I like that. And going out and be able to find things and sell for myself, I like even more. And so back this past May, the 16th, actually, I had to make the decision because my truck that I used to carry mail, I had just pushed it too far and put too many Band-Aids and duct tape on it. It wasn't going to last. And so I had to make the decision. And so my wife, Jerry, she's always been supportive of me the entire time me and her have been together. And so she's like, you know what, do it. Go ahead and turn your resignation. You're going, you're not happy there. And I hadn't been happy there for a while. And so I did. I wrote up my resignation letter and gave it to them, and they weren't happy, but I wasn't either. So
just to share, you and I discussed this pre-chat. You said they kind of saw the writing on the wall because you're always talking about your reselling business.
Oh yeah,
and how excited you were about it.
Oh yeah. Every day that I would come back, right, I'd be like, yeah, I sold 6 things, or hey, look at this, right, I sold this for $50 and I paid $1 for it. I mean, they knew that's what I enjoyed.
That was your passion. You're passionate about it, yeah.
Okay. And so I mean, they like I said, they knew it was coming, but it was actually terrifying, especially now, to do it because okay, now I'm on my own, in the sense of I don't have a boss or anything like that, and we're in the middle of an economic downturn, as they want to call it. But it's I feel this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Well, the people that follow my show and know me, that I'm big on like old sayings because I'm old and I like sayings. But one of the old sayings is, if you do something you'll love, you'll never work another day in your life. So you're passionate, you enjoy it. So it's work, but you enjoy doing it, and you're your own boss. And you can. What's nice is you can set your own hours. We talk about that all the time. It's like when you had your 2 sons and you were a single parent, you could do the reselling and be home and with your children and still do the reselling. Yeah,
which now it's son and daughter, and they're both they've got their own jobs. And my son's trying to he's looking at land now.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's about to be out, and it's just going to be me and her. So that'll be nice.
Right.
Have the whole empty nest thing going.
Well, you have a spare bedroom to put more inventory in it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. No, I like it out here in the shed.
That's how we sellers think anyway. Oh, I got an extra bedroom. I can, normal people say, oh, I can put an office in there. I can put a entertainment room or whatever. I can put more inventory in there, or I can make it my my eBay room or a reselling room or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's probably the one thing that my wife she's glad that I've got this shed out here because it keeps everything from inside. And I told her, you can decorate, you can put up whatever you want to, have the house look however you want to. I don't care. I was like, but this is mine. Just she'll come in and tell me it's it's a mess. You need to do this, do that. I'm like, it's my chaos.
Organized chaos is what
exactly,
it is, basically, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure some of you had followed Lonnie back in the day and shed flips. So Michael kind of has the same kind of situation where he purchased a shed and he has internet and electric and air conditioning, the whole 9 yards in there.
Yep. So just no bathroom, but
no bathroom. You can't have everything, right?
This is true.
So anyway, let's get a little bit into your reselling business, guys, and then we're definitely going to talk about how to promote your listings on Pinterest, and we'll do a screen share and we'll show what Michael's doing. But like I said, back in the day, I had heard about that, and I had heard about people. Now I know more and more people are selling like on Instagram, and back in the day, I got like 3-4 years ago, I heard someone saying, "Oh, I'm selling on Instagram." It's like, you're selling on Instagram? How do you do that? But then I had also heard about promoting your listings on Pinterest, and I never really gave it a second thought until I spoke with you, and I said, that's a great idea.
Yep, it's I stumbled upon it completely by accident. I was listening from my phone at that time. This was, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years ago now. Mm-hmm. And I got to the end of one of my listings and it said share. And I was like, okay, well, I had thought about, I could share it to Facebook if I wanted to. But then I'm thinking, okay, well, that's just people that I went to school with. That's, my family, my mom, my dad, my sister. I don't want to share that to them. And then it was like Twitter, and I was like, I really don't want to deal with Twitter. Then I saw Pinterest, and I knew what Pinterest was, and so I was like, well, I'll give that a shot. And so I did, and shared a couple of listings to it, and then went onto my Pinterest and actually looked at it and noticed that it takes all the keywords, your title, and uses those as keywords. So if someone's looking for a 1985 Hot Wheel blah blah blah, Camaro, whatever, you've got that chance that you'll show up whenever they see their feed for that, their search results.
If they type that in their search results, hopefully your listing pops up in their feed.
Right. Mm-hmm. And of course, I'm sure that as more people pin your pins to their boards, as they're called, and that it's just like people liking things, and it pushes it up to where now someone looks for that same thing, and it's going to get pushed up in the algorithm every time, to where then they see, okay, well, that this person, me, has good things that people recommend, and it just kind of, it works all together really well.
Yeah, it's just like any other algorithm with like the eBay, the Cassini, or the YouTube algorithm, and you get feeds, and if a video is popular, and then it pops into your feed, or if you're searching for something, and I've told you guys before, and most of you probably know this, but Google owns YouTube. So if you're typing something in Google, and it's like, oh, this guy is looking for this, let's put it in his YouTube feed. It's like, oh, he's interested in the local sports teams. Let's put that in his YouTube feed. So, but again, or Cassini with eBay, people search for things, and when you sell things and you promote things, and we'll talk about that. But obviously, when you list on a regular basis, and your product's selling, and you're getting good feedback, then Cassini pumps you up in the search, and obviously promote listings, which that's another 600-pound gorilla. But anyway, then it promotes your listing, so to speak.
Right.
So we'll get into that. But basically, so you're clicking on share when you do your listing on eBay.
Yeah. And you can do, it's not just the phone. Like I said, that's where I stumbled into it.
Use the app originally, right?
Then, yeah, use the app. And now I'm strictly, I only list from the computer. It goes a lot smoother and faster for me. And they have that feature in there as well, to where you can share your listing, and that's it. I believe honestly that it is a game changer, because it puts it out there more. And the one thing I didn't say was, all right, so if you pin something to Pinterest, there's another entry into Google's database that they're going to see. So not only if someone looks for something, will they possibly see your eBay list, and they may see the Pinterest listing first, which then in turn takes you to your item on eBay.
Right.
Through the different ways.
Oh, so it is linked to eBay when they click on it on Pinterest?
Yeah. Whenever you get to that point and you're ready to actually show it,
right.
You'll be able to see that.
Okay, cool.
But the main thing. I know some people are probably going to think, well, I need a business account, or I need to pay a membership or whatever. I can't remember exactly what Pinterest calls it, but you don't. I do not pay Pinterest a dime at all. I do have a business account, but you can do it with a personal account, or convert your personal account to a business account. It just gives you, the business account gives you the analytics. That's all it gives you.
Okay. So the business account will tell you how many people are clicking on that. Okay.
Yep. And how many, it's the same as, everything else. You'll see the impressions and your click-through rate. And it gives you that detailed information as far as, what people are seeing through Pinterest's feed.
Okay.
So, that's the only benefit of the business. But, I'm like you, been in retail and everything for a long time, especially management. I like numbers. I like seeing numbers.
Right.
Because it kind of gives me an idea of what direction I'm going and where I need to steer.
Okay, and again, I'll do the research on this. Speaking with you, I all these things pop in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things I was wondering, and I don't know this answer, so we'll have to Google it. Google. I always say Google's your friend, but and again, I'll assume. I always say, what happens when you assume? But
yep.
I'm assuming you have to have, and I could be wrong, I'm going to research this. You have to have a store to share, or do you know offhand? Or
No,
I know
no,
it's kind of like, well,
no.
no?
If you just
Okay.
got your regular, what is it, 250 listings?
Okay, so you don't have to have a store. You can just have whatever listing you have.
Yep.
There's an option at the end to share it, regardless if you have a store or not.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay,
And
cool.
like I said, and a lot of people don't realize that they don't, especially.
I wasn't aware you could do it. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I
if you're
never
trying to
noticed
pump
it.
out listings, you don't really pay attention to that. It's, create a new listing, go to the next one, create a new listing, go to the next one. And you can also go back. You can go back into your listings and see, Lord, you can see the option to share. Even if you're like, oh man, well, I listed that thing 6 months ago, but now I want to list it, and I think it's something that people might want, like a vintage Metallica concert T-shirt. You can always go back, and you've got that option to share.
The options to share it after the fact once it's listed.
Yes.
Wendy had a question. Lucky Charm Wendy had a question. He goes, do you add all your eBay listings to one board, or do you create separate boards for toys, clothes, sports, etc.?
I should have. And I honestly need to do that. Just like I honestly need to make my own store listings on eBay to where everything's my way, not just using the eBay's categories. Right. But yeah, you can. And then whenever you go into share, it's just like one extra step, because it'll ask you, what board do you want to pin this to? And like, we should be able to, I don't know how the screen sharing works, but it gives you those options to share it to different boards of yours. And so, yeah, that's personal, but probably if you're got some really niche things or a lot of certain things, yeah, I would recommend doing that, just because it would be easy. And then once again, it doesn't cost you anything. Just,
Now, do you have the option? I tell people I shouldn't ask questions if I don't like to blindside my guests, but I'm going to ask you, just, I don't know if you know. What about like on the other e-commerce platforms? Do they have options, or you have to like kind of do a workaround to share?
No. Pinterest, you have the option. I'm sorry, Poshmark, you have the option to share.
You do have the option. Okay.
I am not 100% with Mercari.
Okay, well, that was one of my questions, which we'll get into, but basically you sell on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari.
Those are my three main ones. Right. Technically, Bonanza and TrueGather, because
this is connected to eBay, right?
So they might as well.
Right.
But yeah, I know Amazon. So if you're a fulfillment by merchant, that would be on something unique. Etsy does as well. A lot of places out there actually allow you to share to Pinterest, everything. Now, the one thing that I'm not 100% on is, well, all the others that I don't deal with, like I don't deal with Etsy,
right?
But if like whenever you pin something from eBay, and so we've got the 1985 Hot Wheels car, and somebody clicks on that, so they click on your pin, and then they see the bigger version of it. It will have the link for your item directly, so it's not like they click on it and then they just see all of the 1985 Hot Wheels cars.
It'll take them directly to your listing.
Directly to yours. So then, boom, they want it. If it's still available, they sell it. But now, if it's not available anymore, they'll get we're sorry, this already sold. And then after, I don't know how long it is, what is it, 6 months, a year, something like that. Then it's like, we can't find anything about it, whatever eBay's. And if you want to, at that point in time, if you're really OCD and you want to go through your pins and delete the ones I've already sold, I'm not. I don't have that much time.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's extra work. Sure.
But number one, I don't have the time to do all that. Number two, it at least got them to your, to possibly see anything else, because it still shows those, recommended items down at the bottom. You might want this. So, there's that possibility that they could come across another item of yours.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sure.
Okay. So like I said, we said you sell basically on those 3 different platforms. And I want to get a little bit into, how you're running your e-commerce business and the different
Yep.
platforms. And we'll get into dive in a little more deeply. We did quite a bit already with the Pinterest. We'll dive in a little bit later, but eBay, Macquarie, and Poshmark, obviously for clothing. You sell on those three platforms, and what has your experience been like? I talk to people about Macquarie. It's kind of like a hit or miss with some people. They say like video games sell very well on Macquarie. So why don't you tell us a little bit about why you sell on those platforms and what your experience has been on those three different platforms?
Well, we'll do Macquarie to begin with.
Okay.
The reason why I wanted to try it, it was something new. I do know that, Gen Z, younger crowd of people have really latched on to Macquarie, especially like for video games, a lot of pop culture stuff, Funko Pops,
Right.
just anything that revolves around that.
Right.
And so there are some. Well, I've got a lot of things that are in that area, and so I got onto it just because I was like, well, it's super easy to list on. Their policies and everything. I like it, and so. My mind's going completely blank. I hate when that. So I set it up, and I don't sell everything that I have in here because it's a 12 by 20 shed, and no, there's a lot of things that I have in here that probably won't do that well.
Right.
I just those are more trial and error, figuring things out. One thing that does really, really well for us, and I should have grabbed them, but I didn't. But behind the creepy porcelain doll girl. All of those boxes back there, I don't know how well you can see it, but those are all Five Nights at Freddy's pins, like writing pins. And I got a smoking deal on them. I don't know. I've probably got, I think it was about 125 of each one, and there's 6 different ones.
Wow.
And I sell them as a set for anywhere from $12 to $15 on Macquarie, and they sell very regularly.
Okay.
For us, that's like probably my biggest thing that I can sell on there. But I mean, it's I use it just because it's easy, and those little niche things like that I'll put over there.
Yeah, I heard I don't sell Macquarie, but I heard that the video game systems in general sell well in Macquarie.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get into your niches, but you sell toys, you sell comic books, etc. Yeah. So do those type of things sell well in Macquarie for you?
They do. Unfortunately, like around here, I don't get the chance to, I'm not one of those people that you see on YouTube and they walk up to a flea market or a garage sale and they're like, oh yeah, I got this Nintendo and and I got a box of games. I'll let you have it for $20.
Yeah, that's it.
That's me.
Don't you love that, right? It's like,
yeah.
It's funny. Joe Philly Picker's usually in my chat. He pops in during the show usually, and he lives right across the bridge in Philadelphia. He comes over here, he finds all this stuff. It's like, Joe, where do you find this stuff? I never see that. It's like, but some people are fortunate; they're out there sourcing all the time. And I personally, I know hard work has a lot to do with how well you sell things and how you price things and how you select things and how you take pictures. But I think some of it has to do with luck too. As far as you're outsourcing.
Yeah, it's I would say it's split 50-50. It's 50% of the hard work and the other is just blind luck. You just happen to be there at the right time.
Well, I had talked to you, pre-chat about some bolos and things, and speaking about finding things, you had a really great buy on some comic books. So why don't you get into that a little bit? Tell us a little bit about your comic books that you purchased and how much you paid for them and how well you're doing with them.
So we had it popped up under the estate sales. I don't know why it did because it's not.
You found it on estatesales.net.
Yeah, and it showed it, but I was like, well, crap, this is in my town, so I'll go check it out. It started on a Friday at 9. And I show up and there's like one other guy there when I first got there, and we both talk, and 9 o'clock rolls around, nobody's there. So I found the number, call them. But what it was is this guy's got a flea market about an hour away, and from the way it sounds, he's bringing a lot of his surplus over and putting it in this storefront and calling it an estate sale. But it's just stuff he's just trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
So finally he gets there, opens it up, and it was 3 of us whenever he first opened up, and they're all looking around. Me and one guy, we both going for the same thing, which is comics, because we saw it in the pictures. And I'm looking through them, and it's, I mean, they're comic books. They're from probably 78 to 85. Some newer items, but mostly in that era.
Right.
And he's not finding anything that he wants, and I've found a couple of things, and he leaves, and then the other guy leaves, and so me and the guy running the place just start talking, and they never once.
Let me interrupt you for 1 second.
Yeah.
I always said on my show, guys, I call it networking, or maybe you want to call it schmoozing, but it always helps to talk to the the yard sale seller, the garage sale seller, the quote unquote estate sale seller. Try to build with some kind of rapport, which apparently that's what you were doing.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we're talking, and I let him know, hey, this is how I make my living. He has no problem with it. He understands. And so we're obviously he saw me looking at the comics. He's like, yeah, it's just a whole bunch of extra stuff we had, like the comic books. I'm letting them go for 25 cents each. So I'm like, I look back over, and so I was like, well, how much for all of them? He's like, 25 cents each. And I was like, okay, so we need to count them up. He's like, yeah, but I'll help you count. I was like, okay, cool. So we're counting. And I'm one box, and he's on another box. And he gets to a certain point, and he just stops, and he looks at me. He goes, there's probably 65 in each box. And I was like, well, there's 5 boxes. He's like, yeah, so that's 325. And so I pull out my phone, calculate it. I was like, all right, so that's 81.25. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, I found 2 albums that I want as well. I was like, so 85 for the lot? Sure. So pay the man his money, load it up in my car, and I come home. Called the wife, of course, before I did this, because I was like, it's going to be a lot of comic books.
Yeah, right.
And she's like, well, if you feel like we're going to be able to do anything with them. I was like, yeah. So get them, take them into the living room, sit down, and I've got my wall of comic book boxes around me. And I just start going through them. I'm pulling them out, and I'm separating them. DC, Marvel, the Image, the Valiant, and then the oddball independents over there. And then once I've got them all separated, then I'm like, okay, well, how many do I have?
Right, you told me you had done some mental math. You had told me in a pre-chat. So why don't you share that with the people?
I mean, I've been around comic books all my life. I know what a short box holds, and that's what they were 5 short boxes. And 4 of the 5 boxes were just about full. His box wasn't. So in my mind, I knew that's way more than 325. So I get out and I start counting. So I'm counting stacks and then sitting and writing it down. And once everything was all said and done, it was little over 700 comic books. So that works out to a little over 12 cents a comic that I paid. I should be able to average $5 a comic. So once all of these sell, I turned $81.25 into potentially $3,500, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. But I've started listing them. Part of me regrets buying them because that's a lot of photos and a lot of listing. But it's going quick.
Well, like I said, you again, we had talked pre-chat, and you said you had got, what was it, 80 something you had listed today?
78.
78. Okay. Yeah. I dyslexia. I reversed the numbers. But yeah, I mean, that's just nice about hard goods. I mean, something like comic books. I mean, how many pictures do you take typically on a comic book?
4. Front, the back, open it up so they can see the colors of the pages since they're so old. And then I do another one with it laying flat and with the light shining to where they can see if there's any mess ups or anything like that on it.
Sure. Any defects or whatever.
Right. But
you said you pulled a couple of those off your inventory, right?
Yeah,
One of them was actually signed. I'm going to make you full screen so that people can see a little bit better.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, kind of give you an idea of the era of comics. Some of these are a little bit newer, but I mean, these are late 80s, early 90s. These are all Thor. So that was like one little section of it.
Right.
And it's going to be a lot of research to figure out exactly what they all are. But like when I was going through all the independents, this is from Image. This one kind of surprised me. And it's called The Manhattan Projects. And it's the first issue of it. And I looked and I was like, well, is that printed on? And you can shine it to the light and you can see, no, that's actually a Sharpie. Okay. And so it's, what's the guy's first name? His last name's Patara. He's one of the artists for it.
Okay.
And so I looked it up And this sales signed versions of this and everything, open, not graded or anything like that, go for around $50.
Nice.
So I was really happy. I mean, that's
Yeah,
a
so
bulk of
that's
the money
I was
spent.
gonna say that. Yeah, it's like 2/3 of what you paid for the lot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Very nice. Okay, so guys, we're just going to touch on, Michael's probably, I tell you, most of us sell on eBay. Just going to touch a little bit on his eBay business, and we'll talk. Well, obviously, then we'll get in a little bit deeper into the Pinterest and how he promotes his listing on Pinterest. And like I said, we're going to do a screen share. So, Tom, if you want to pull up and see how it's listed on Pinterest, we can do that. Okay, so again, I always ask people how they run their eBay business because, like I said, most of us sell on eBay. So I'm just going to ask you kind of how you do that. I typically do your eBay business, and I know you said you started doing this full time in May, but things like running sales and doing best offers, sending offers to watchers, promoted listings. How do you run your eBay business?
All right. Well, when I first started it, this second time that I really started getting, before I even went full time, I would just, I had the mentality of, list it, forget it. I'd run a sale every once in a while if I thought about it. Never promoted them. Never did anything as far as like with eBay promoted listings.
Right.
And probably within the last 6 months, I really buckled down because, like I said, I knew this is what I wanted to do. So now, basically, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Sunday. So I've got three sets of 2. I run sales. I just run basically a 48-hour sale on those days, and it's anywhere from 10 to 20%, depending on if there's a holiday coming up or anything like that. Now, if there is a holiday, I will actually extend it maybe a day just to, like we had July 4th on Monday. And so, that instead of being a Saturday, Sunday, I did that Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But I do that because I know that when you put your items on sale, eBay pushes it up in the search results.
Right. Helps with Cassini. Yep. Exactly.
Cassini likes it. And also started promoting. I don't do anything crazy. It was at 1%, but now eBay in their wisdom decided to bump that to 2%.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you, but I want to remind people as of July 10th or 11th, you have to at minimum of 2% to promote it.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you haven't changed it, technically you are still promoting your listing, but they won't promote it. I don't know if they automatically bumped it to 1 or just took it away.
No, they said that they will not promote unless you're at minimum of 2%.
Okay.
You might think you're running a promotion, but they're not promoting your listing. Yeah.
But I bet you somehow they'll be like, oh, but you had it promoted, so now we get that extra 1%.
We just saw we're going to charge you for the promoted listing. Right?
Yeah. Let's see. The other thing that I've been doing is before, I always tried to list, but, whenever I was working for the post office, I'd come home. I live in Mississippi. We have no winter. So it's pretty much hot all the time. So, you'd be tired when you'd come home, and I would want to rest or just anything but thinking about listing. But now I've got it to where I list a minimum of 20, once again, because Cassini likes that. They like to see that activity. Some days like today, I've listed 78 items. That doesn't happen that often. It's just dependent.
Let me interrupt you for 1 second. And Beth was in the chat earlier, and I'm always shouting out Beth. I love the way she runs her business. Do you ever do like today? You banged out 87 listings. Do you ever save any of those in your draft file? So like maybe
I know I should.
Tomorrow? Okay.
I know I should because you don't know what's going to happen when you wake up.
Right.
But there's a lot of things like you asked me about. How's my inventory system? Oh, I must have a great inventory system.
Right.
No, I don't have an inventory system.
Right. You have some kind of a photographic memory. You said you just know where everything is. Like, okay,
I know where.
That would work for me.
I was the guy, especially like I told you, I used to work for AutoZone.
Right.
I loved doing inventory. That was my favorite thing to go do. They'd say, "Hey, we're doing."
I hated inventory. I always hated inventory. Whether I was working retail or wholesale, we had to do an inventory. So I don't want to do this inventory. I had to do it. That was part of the job.
That was a weird one. And so I guess just because of doing that and always changing things up and moving things around,
right.
and those type environments, it's stuck in my brain. And luckily, I get to keep doing that here. But yeah, I mean, I could sit there and I could tell the person, you go down this third aisle, go down it on your left-hand side, 3 shelves up, it'll be the 4th box to your right.
Right.
To get to a pair
I could never do that. If my life depended on it, I wouldn't be able to do that. I would say, well, it's kind of like in the middle section or like the 3rd shelf or,
Yeah.
Right.
And it definitely helps here. Now, yes, once again, I know, and I do not suggest anybody to not have an inventory system because, God forbid anything horrible happened to me where I can't come out here and this is mine and my wife's sole income. If she comes out here to find something, it's, if I can't tell her where it's at, then she's never going to find it. And then there goes our business down the tube. So I do have plans to do that.
Okay.
And
your wife, Sherry, does she assist in your business? Does she do it?
She helps me.
Okay.
She wants to do a lot more.
Okay.
Once I've done this for so long by myself, before me and her met,
right,
that I'm used to that. And that's that's my biggest fault. I know that is letting it go and letting her do something.
Well, yeah, when she's, I know a lot of like couples, like maybe their spouses are shipping or something. Because I mean, you want to do your own listings, you want to do the description, you want to do the title and take the pictures, or maybe they just take pictures. Maybe they're good with taking pictures, so delegate some of the work and free you up for other things.
Right.
And maybe if that's you have an issue with delegating that's another thing too. That's another story.
That's the reason why I'm not a manager anymore.
Yeah, right. You don't like delegating, you like everything yourself. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah, that's probably it. But I know. I mean, and she wants to. She wants to learn,
right?
Because she wants to be able to help. She wants to, which I mean, I rely on her big time whenever we go out because if it's a toy, if it's a video game, if it's anything remotely, quote unquote,
she's in the pop culture.
Yeah, she does. Like, she knows music. Like, she can tell you who sang it, when it came out, what album it was on.
Right.
And yeah, I can do that if it's classic rock. But I mean, she knows things that I don't know. She'll ask me. She'll be like, "Oh yeah, you know that song?" No, I don't.
Well, you told me you do basically your business is one-offs, whatever I guess you can find, you do well with, but you kind of remember like toys from the 80s and
70s, 80s.
80s, right.
Definitely 80s and 90s because number one, I either played with it or number two, I was assistant manager for KB Toys for a while.
Right.
And so, and then like I say, growing up around comic books and magic cards and, video games and everything. And that was my culture.
So you're familiar with that. You're passionate about it, that you're right.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny if you watch Stranger Things, we didn't have an L that could throw somebody across the room, but the way those kids are, that was my people. That was my friends. We were a small group and we were the weird kids.
Okay. Like you said, you call yourself a geek. So yeah.
Yeah, we were.
Right.
We are, still are, or at least I am. I don't know about the rest of them. But I mean, that's what I know. And like I said, she knows a lot more stuff. And then clothing, she knows that. She's worked in department stores and she knows all those brands.
Right.
I know Nike and Levi, I know that type stuff.
Okay. Well, I had a few other questions I wanted to ask you, but we're moving right along here. So let's get into the Pinterest portion of the show, so to speak. I'm going to always ask the other questions if we have time allows. But let's get into that. And you did pull up your Pinterest page, so I can share that now. I'll make that full screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So now this is something that I listed earlier today, but it will look a little bit different on mobile, but the idea is the exact same. So don't worry about that. All right. So once you've got everything done, all your blah, 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 priced and everything, and you come down here and it would normally say list this item. So we're going to click on it. And like I said, on the computer and for everything else, most everybody either hits done or, I mean, you can see mine's purple, create new listing, because it knows that's what I always usually do.
Right.
But right here, share listing. So if you click on share listing, there's all these options.
Okay.
Not only to directly link it, which I don't know. I guess maybe if you found something you wanted to send to somebody on WhatsApp or Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. I didn't know LinkedIn was a thing as far as sharing items.
Yeah, I wouldn't think it would be, but okay.
I mean, the main ones probably people would use would be like Facebook, Messenger, or Pinterest.
Right.
Or there's your link right there. And so if you've got your own blog website or anything else, and you just need to copy the link and send it, you have that option.
Right.
But the one that I use is Pinterest. So
okay.
I don't know if this is going to work because, like I said, I don't know how the screen sharing works, but we're going to try it.
Okay.
Okay. No, it didn't.
No, it's not going to go there. Okay. No problem.
All right. Hold on. Let me do this. And because I want to show people what it looks like.
Okay. Why don't we get out of this and I'll pull that off, and then you can do another screen share.
Yeah.
Pull what you want to share, and I told you we'll do a Chrome tab share. So pull what you want to share, and then I'll share it again.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna stop that. Share screen and Pinterest. There we go. Boom.
Okay. Alrighty.
All right. So on the computer, this is what it would look like. All right. So you've got your item here. This little picture. And then different things. And like I said, I just got one thing for the eBay items, but all you do is save. Oh, come on. There it goes. All right. And then you've got this. And then you can see your pin or promote your pin. Promoting your pin, that's where you pay money to Pinterest.
So that's a fee. Okay.
Yeah. And that's really it. I mean, it's that simple. There's nothing difficult, hard. The main thing you got to do is to make sure that you've got a Pinterest account. And if you don't have one, it takes 5 seconds, set one up.
Right. I actually have your Pinterest page pulled up, so I want to share that as well. So let me do that. Okay.
Right. And so that's some of the items. Now click on one of the items. Doesn't matter what it is.
Okay.
Click on. All right.
And see, okay.
This is something they just recently added. See how it said? I'm sitting here pointing at the screen like everybody.
Right. Like we can see it, right?
But see how it says sold out?
Yes.
That was something I don't know what all it works on because I've seen some of the items that I know for a fact is sold out and it doesn't show that. So
okay.
A little bit. But if you click on the visit eBay on a like go back one.
Okay, I guess I can do it like this.
All right, and then
that
Iron Man one there. The Iron Man looks like a CD.
Which one is that? Right there. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. All right, so we've got that. If you click on the picture or click on the eBay.us.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't know if it's going. It might bring up a different.
Did it bring it to the? Yeah, it did. It did allow it. Unless it's a new tab, I think. Yeah, it's not letting me share it that way.
Yeah.
Let me see if it brings up a new tab. You know what? Let me get out and I'll show it. I'll stop that. I'll go to that tab and share it. Okay. All right, we'll go to that tab and share it. Guys, I apologize. StreamYard has weird ways of doing things. It's not letting me. It's only letting me share that specific. Sometimes it'll show it. Sometimes it won't. So let me go and share that tab. Okay. All right, so we'll do Chrome tab, and we'll do that. I should say eBay, right?
Should.
Heck, is that new YouTube new tab? Okay, that's okay. Okay, so it should be showing it now.
Let's see, and it takes you directly
to the eBay listing. Okay.
Yeah. Directly to it, so you're not it's not using a search or anything like that. I mean, if it's still live on your store, that's what they're going to see.
Okay.
Now I will say there is one thing that can break this, break it from working, break the link, and that is there are some people out there that with their eBay stores, and I'm not down in this. It's your store, you run it however the heck you want to.
Right.
But they will end that listing. So let's say it's something they've had for a year. All right. So it hasn't sold. They'll end the listing and then turn around and sell similar to, make eBay think that it's a new item. So, hey, Cassini, new item, push it up to the top. Well, now that item ID, the item number for that is broken, which means that link is broken. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If you're going to use this to promote, to be just something extra that doesn't cost you any money, if you start doing that, then you're going to.
Right, so it's going to take people to the link, and it's not there because you changed it, you either relisted it or you're sold similar or whatever.
Right. Now if you relist it, that's different. If you
it'll still come up when you relist it, okay?
Because it's still your item ID on eBay is still the exact same. But if you sell similar, that gives it a whole new item ID, a whole new life.
Right. Okay. But if you relist, it'll keep it the same, obviously, because it keeps the same item number, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wendy had a question. She says, "Do you do paid promotion on Pinterest, and have you noticed a difference in sales?"
There's honestly, with all the you can see how many people's clicked on it, and you can kind of correlate. eBay's not going to tell you, oh, this buyer came from Pinterest or Google or Instagram or where, it's not going to tell you that. It'll just tell you that it was from the outside is all they'll say. But if you do an item that you sell, and it says that sale came from the outside, and then you can look at your Pinterest item and see the analytics, and it's like, well, this many people clicked on it. You can kind of see what's performing good and what's not performing good.
Gotcha.
I don't know if anybody out there has a software that can kind of aggregate all of that information. I know there's people out there that pulls data from a lot of different things.
Yeah, like Tommy that's in the chat, he's really into numbers and analytics. Yep.
But I don't know of one, but no, I do not use paid promotions on Pinterest because I can get it for free, just running it, and it seems in my mind that it's doing better, that I do get outside traffic. I can see that I'm getting outside traffic to my items, and so that's better than
because you said you have a business account, so it'll tell you that, right?
Well, no, on the eBay side now.
Oh, on eBay side, okay.
Granted, you got to have a store to be able to see those analytics, if I remember right. But if you've got a store, you can see where it's like from eBay searches and from the I guess web searches or whatever they want to call it, but it's from the outside.
Right. Okay. Are there any other questions, guys, you have about Pinterest while we're on Pinterest? I want a few other things I want to talk to Michael about, but do you have any other questions about Pinterest? Oh yeah, Beth was talking about what you had said, that she sells similar. She ends listings and sells similar. So that's what happens, that you can't. She was using Pinterest, and when she does that, the link is broken, so to speak.
Yep.
And she says there's nothing more frustrating on Pinterest than going to a pin and nothing is there. So with the way Beth's doing her business, she really can't use Pinterest in that way anyway.
Right. And unless you just want to, every time you sell similar, turn around and share it, and
right, and that's additional work. Yep.
But if you've got that mentality, if it's an item that you have no plans of doing the sell similar or something like that, it's
right. So she's relisting, right. If you relist, then she says no, I don't sell similar. I relist. Similar. Well, I thought you said if you relist, you told me if you relist that it should be the same.
No,
right?
I don't ever relist or sell similar anymore.
Okay.
Because of that fact, because it does break the links, but that's what I'm saying.
Regardless of the relist too, it breaks the link. Okay.
I did not know that.
Okay, well, Beth's saying that was her experience. Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to
check that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because before that,
maybe I misunderstood, because I thought you said if you relist that it's the same item number and it should work, but maybe it breaks the link too. I don't know. So
I'm gonna have to do some research on that. I'll let you know.
Have to try it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's up,
I'll
Ryan?
post pictures in the chat. There's your buddy Ryan, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Ryan. Appreciate you popping in and recommending Michael for the show. Really appreciate that, guy. So I might as well mention that while we're talking about that. Guys, I'm always looking for other resellers to have on the show, and I network as much as I can and talk to as many resellers as I can and try to bring new people on the show and have them share their knowledge with us. So again, I'm always looking for other resellers to interview. You don't have to be really experienced. I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. Like I'm trying to grow my eBay business. So, I mean, I'm trying to grow like newer sellers on eBay. In fact, I was told to get on Pinterest, not Pinterest, Reddit. And answer some questions on Reddit to help grow your YouTube channel. So that's what I did. I shared some of my eBay knowledge to somebody that was a new seller on eBay and Macquarie, and I shared some information, try to help them. So anyway, long story short, I'm always looking for other resellers. So, and all my contact information is in the description of the video, as well as Michael's. All his contact information is in there as well. So we're just going to ask you a few more questions, then we'll talk about things you want to talk about as far as your channel and YouTube and well, obviously Pinterest, which we will share, and then Instagram, etc. So just a couple of things I want to ask you quickly. Do you use are you cross-listing with a software, or are you doing that on your own manually?
Basically, I'm doing it on my own. I know that there is, what is it called, Flip reseller tools. And
That's right. People started using Flip, right? But
yeah.
That's
but
free for now, but
I don't know.
Right.
Especially for things like this, for like a comic book, it asks you 5 million questions just on eBay, and then Macari's going to ask you questions, and then Poshmark's going to want to know what color it is for whatever crazy reason.
Right.
And so no, I'm not. As of right now, I'm just still doing it the old way. But I mean, I've tried it. It is awesome.
Right. Well, you have list perfectly, right?
Yeah. List perfectly.
And then do the extension. Yep.
Yeah, but no, I just do it the old school way.
Okay.
My fingers.
Gotcha. Let your fingers sit and walking. And I typically ask other resellers this again. I'm just trying to help you and see if there's any websites or apps that other resellers use that are different than possibly what we're using. Are there anything that you use that might be different or unusual as far as the websites or apps that you use in your business?
No, I mean, I pretty much
what
everybody does,
Okay.
Yeah, just what comes along with it.
Gotcha. Okay. Also, I wanted to know, is there anything that you're doing differently in your business recently? I know you said you've been doing it full time since May. Is there anything that you've been doing recently, maybe that's maybe helping your business? I mean, you've been doing the Pinterest for a while, right?
Yeah. But as far as like, whenever I first turned in my resignation with the post office, I was like, well, now I can sleep late, and I tried that for just a little bit, like, okay, well, I'll get up and start working at 8. And I guess because I've been doing that and in other jobs, having to get up early and open up stores and things, that my body was just like, no, you've got to get up. So I still have my alarm set. I did change it a little bit. I get up late, which is 6:15 for me. And, I get my day started. I'll get up, get dressed, and then I come out here and I'm taking pictures. I'm listing.
So you set up a routine basically, which you have to if you're running your own business. Yep.
I got so used to it with everything else that I couldn't change that routine. My body didn't like it.
Right.
And I mean, it works. And I get a lot of stuff done early. So if the wife wants to go to the flea market or we need to go check on something, anything we need to do, well, I don't have to worry. I can knock off 12, 1 o'clock and we're on the road.
No, Tommy's sharing what the chat. He says correct end relist works the same. So apparently, I don't know if it did it before. And eBay is constantly changing the way the platform works. So he goes, that's why eBay created the bulk relister tool. Hundreds of brand new listings, gets the new listing badge and bump and search. So apparently, at least now, if you relist or you end the listing, it breaks the link to the listing on Pinterest. So I guess you couldn't do that. So you said you're doing new listings all the time. It's just
I just do new listings. I mean, I'm not relisting or sell similar or anything like that. Okay.
I always ask my guests this, and I didn't want to blindside you, so I told you I'd be asking you this. What was your biggest flip today so far?
Biggest flip to date. Wow, yeah, I just told you, and then this was once again. It was probably about 6 or so years ago. Went to the thrift store on my lunch break at work, and was looking, and they had this like wicker basket, and it had all these watches in it, and a little sign on it, $1 per watch. So I was like, oh, I'll look at them and see. Yeah, most of it's like the Walmart and everything brands. I'm looking through, and then I see one watch, and it says Cartier. And I'm not a watch person or anything like that, but I did know that name because I used to have a '78 Lincoln Continental many years ago, and it had the big clock in the dash, and I remember seeing it was Cartier, everything. And so I was like, okay, well, I know the name; it's got to be halfway decent. And it was it was $1, and so I paid him the $1. It wasn't working, but I mean, I was able to twist on it, and the hands moved, and everything. So I know it wasn't like seriously messed up. So got it home and started looking up. I looked up Cartier, and I'm like, well, they make some really nice watches. And so then I'm starting to piece things together. And from what I could tell, it was from around the 50s. It was called a tank watch. It was just the design and everything they had. It was like a square face. And so I looked up a tank watch, and like a functioning, tested, probably take it to the Cartier dealership and get them to give you something showing that it is 100% authentic.
Right.
Several $1,000s. And I live in the middle of South Mississippi. There is no Cartier dealerships.
But I actually went in a Cartier store once. I was in Las Vegas and said, well, I'll never go to this place again, so I might as well walk and look around.
Yep. And so that there is a jewelry store though, and I was like, well, maybe they can at least give me an idea of is it 100%. And so the guy looked at it. He did the test on the metal, and he said from what his tests are, it is 100% authentic. And from what he was seeing, it was made of solid 18 karat gold. It had like on the little twisty thing on your watch, whatever it's called, it's got a name I know, was blue, and it was rounded on the top of it. Okay. And he said that that was a smooth sapphire on it,
wow.
And
so it was a blue sapphire, right? Okay. On the stem. Okay.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay. And he offered me like $400 if I just wanted to sell it to him.
So directly to the jeweler. Right.
And I was like, well, I want to see. And so I listed it for $750 on eBay. And there was a guy in France that it was like, basically what it turned out to be was he was getting shipping for free, just take the price of the shipping out of it. Right, so it ended up being like around $720. And I was like, sure. So I packed it up into a small box, bubble wrapped the crap out of it, bubble wrapped the crap out of that box, put it inside of another box, and weighed it. And I had, I think it was $1,000 insurance on it, or, whatever, that level insurance was. Cause of course, USPS wasn't going to cover it once it left.
Yeah, true.
And, shipped it off to him, and he got it. I'm assuming he's happy. That's been 6-7 years ago.
Your cost was $1.
Yeah, $1. Yes, yeah. That was my absolute.
That's extremely unusual.
Yeah, that's like this thing.
And you find all these Gucci knockoffs. You go to Goodwill, they're everywhere. It's like that's not a Gucci. That's not a Gucci. That's not a Gucci. But it is what it is.
But going back to my wife, talking about really good pickups and everything, she found that, which Ryan will know it because he's seen it before. It's a gourd that this guy in Texas, he does gourd art. He's a deaf artist that's tied in with the university there. And his stuff apparently is really, really, really expensive. I didn't find any solds. Now, I don't have Worth Point, but I didn't find any like with Terapeak, nothing sold within the last year with his name. But whenever I search his name, there's a studio in Pennsylvania. Yeah, Pennsylvania.
Right. That
has 2 of his pieces. They sold, I think, 2 or 3 of them already. And the 2 pieces that they have, one's $500 and one's just shy of $500. And we found that gourd at the thrift store. Assuming it blew over with the wind, I don't know how in the world it made it to teeny tiny, Mississippi.
Yeah.
But I've got it listed. Well, I've got it listed right now for $400, and we paid $4. And I didn't see it. She did. She saw it. She thought it looked really cool. You knew it was a gourd, and she set it over in the thing. And I didn't really see it until we're up there paying. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I found this." I'm like, "Okay."
Well, that's just nice when you go out, thrifting or sourcing with. I hear stories about people going out yard selling. They go out with a friend yard selling, and maybe somebody's into like video games and sporting goods or something. The other person is in the clothing or something,
Mhm.
and they're going out there looking at things, and maybe you missed something, and your partner or your significant other says, "Oh, did you see this?" It's like you miss things,
Yep.
So it's
Exactly.
definitely an advantage when you take your significant other or somebody
Mhm.
else when you're outsourcing, and as long as they're not looking for the same things as you're looking for. Like if obviously your spouse is
Right. Yeah.
different, but I say your competition.
Right. All right. Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your social media? We're getting about that time now, so why don't you tell us
Okay.
a little bit about your social media and what you want to promote, and tell the people
Yeah.
about your
I
YouTube
mean,
channel and
I'm
okay.
on Instagram, of course. It's the Southern for most everything. It's the Southern Geeks. So
Right.
Instagram, YouTube. I'm not big enough, or I've only got a few videos. I'm learning it, but I do want to. I want to give back to the community. Kind of like what you're doing. I want to help somebody. I don't expect to be a hairy tornado. I don't expect to be Commonwealth and Lonnie and John at Cincinnati Pick, all them. I'm not going to be that person. But if I can help at least one person with finding something really cool or earning enough money to put gas in their car to where they don't have to worry about it whenever they're going to work, that's all I'm really worried about. But like I said, Instagram, YouTube is the Southern Geeks. You can still search for it, and you'll be able to see the channel. My big thing that I'm really, really working on is Twitch. I like going live. I like listing, things like that. And YouTube is got, I don't know. I mean, you can look at reselling. There's a ton of people out there that start and try and make it big, or just make a couple of videos about reselling in general. But there's a whole culture of young people, for the most part, that really like the whole thrifting, keeping everything really inexpensive idea already. I mean, you can see it through social media. They're always proud of I found these clothes and this, and this. Well, if I can get a hold of, get into their head and show them that whenever they're at the thrift store, okay, yeah, sure, you got the cool pants or whatever, but there might be a coffee cup. I hate coffee cups, but they're just, like
Starbucks cups sell too. It's
yeah,
like fix your
they do.
Starbucks cup in one of your thrift
And
stores or
fire
yard sale. Yeah.
cakes are really good. But to look at those things, because hey, that's extra money, and especially now,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
they're getting extra money to pay for gas, to go to the grocery store, anything like that. If I could help them do that, if I can show them that, then that would make me happy.
Right.
Because I gave back to community. I mean, I learned everything I learned as far as reselling wise was watching, people like you and people like,
Yeah, that's why I say, you learn from other resellers, and that's why I always say, I'm always, and how I do things might be different than how other people do it, but I'm always appreciative of what I've learned, and I buy merch from a reseller. I'll give them a super chat. I'm not monetized on YouTube, so the people can't give me super chat. But I have to buy me a cup of coffee. If you guys are learning something and you appreciate me helping you guys out, buy me a cup of coffee. Coffee's expensive these days. Randy's in the chat. He sells coffee. I'll tell you how expensive coffee is. By the way, guys, for those of you in the chat, Randy gave me a heads up. If you use mustard, buy your mustard. He told me it's going to quadruple in price. So I don't know how much mustard you use, but I bought a bunch of mustard. There were like 8 containers of mustard the other day. It's like, hey, if I save $2-3 a container, it's like $15-20 I'm going to save.
That'll work.
But yeah, I'll make it real short, guys, because I know your time's valuable. But Randy was telling me they use mustard in a lot of ingredients and other products. So that's another reason the price is going up. But yeah, so if you use mustard or whatever, stock up on your mustard.
I'll remember that.
Okay, and like I said, guys, and I always do this. I always talk about, when I bring other guests on, it's a collaboration. So I want them, to help promote my channel. I want to promote whatever they want to promote, their eBay store, or their Instagram, or you're doing TikTok too. You had mentioned to me, right?
I do have a TikTok. I am not that big on TikTok.
On the show.
What the?
Uh-oh.
I don't know. That was kind of weird.
Yep.
I think it was an ad for something. I don't know.
Okay.
My mind just went blank.
You're talking about TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok. That's kind of where, the same thing with YouTube.
Right.
I'm learning it. I know what it is.
Right.
I know the possibilities of it.
Yeah, there's more and more content on TikTok, educational content.
Yeah.
So
And
some
that,
people are going that avenue, doing TikTok videos.
yeah. And that apparently that short video format and everything, that's really what everybody's
Right.
pumping up. You know,
Yep.
he's grabbing people. And so, you know, use TikTok to maybe move people to YouTube or Twitch.
Or vice versa, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're using Pinterest to get people over to your listings.
That's it. I'm not worried about how many people follow me on Pinterest. That part of it I'm not worried about. Right. That's probably the only social media that I'm not really worried about.
Right. Yeah, we go there to get them over to your eBay page. Right.
You know, to the content creation and everything. Like I said, I'm learning it, and hopefully I can help somebody. I really hope I can, whether it's Pinterest or anything.
Okay. So guys, I always say on my channel, sometimes I might sound like a broken record, but anyway, I appreciate your time. I always say your time is your most valuable asset. And I had mentioned earlier, if you get any kind of value from my channel, please consider helping me offset some of the costs. Just like a reselling business, there's time and expenses involved. So anything you could do would be appreciated. And I want to remind you guys to hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you're not subscribed. I had also mentioned previously in the other videos that Randy has the website. I mentioned Randy a couple of times today, facings.com. It's in the description section. So if you buy anything from Randy is kind enough to pay me a little commission, no cost to you guys to help me out. So like I said, guys, time is your most valuable asset. So I want to thank Michael again for his time, and those of you here in the live and watching the replay, and appreciate you guys being here. And we shall have a show again next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Take care, guys. And remember, Bobby and Angie are doing a show this evening, I believe, and they should be on right about now. Okay, guys, take care now.
Bye.